It is 4 o'clock. I will call to order this meeting. Please stand if you are able to sing our national anthem. Please be seated. We'll start with the roll call.
Mayor Sue Patterson.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Warren Dickert.
Present.
Councillor Harold Fleet.
Present.
Councillor Dave Hawking.
Present.
Councillor Carol Hudson.
Present.
Councillor Brandon Cable.
Present.
Councillor Susan Sackle.
Present.
Thank you. All members are present and accounted for. The land acknowledgement. As we work toward reconciliation with Indigenous people, we begin our meeting today by respectfully acknowledging that we are situated on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. And further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. So welcome to our regular council meeting for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. Good afternoon, council, staff, guests, the viewing public, and the media. Council, does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest or a conflict of interest? And none online. So as always, if one should arise, you may declare it then. Item 5, we do not have any agenda additions or deletions. We'll start with our health and safety message. This message reflects the town's strong commitment to safety of both staff and residents. It is intended to raise awareness of potential risks, encourage safe practices, and support the prevention of injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. And today's health and safety message is brought to us by Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. It's Be a Donor Month. One organ donor can save up, and one tissue donor can improve the lives of up to 75 people. Thousands of Canadians are in need of organ and tissue donations, and hundreds die each year while waiting for transplants. One organ can mean the difference between life and death for someone on the wait list, and donated tissue regain independence and be the life-saving for burn survivors. Potential donor, regardless of medical condition or age. This April, during Be a Donor Month, you can help make a change and share the gift of life. Organium Gift of Life Network Be a Donor Month is dedicated to promoting awareness and driving organ and tissue donation. To learn more about organ and tissue donation and transplantation, you can visit beadonor.ca or call the Trillium Gift of Life Network toll-free at 1-800-263-2833.
Thank you, Councillor Cable. And You were cutting in and out there just for a second, and there is one line that I want to repeat, and that is one organ donor can save up to 8 lives, and one tissue donor can improve the lives of up to 75 people. So, okay, so we have 2 public meetings this afternoon. The first one is a public meeting under the Planning Act to consider zoning bylaw amendment file number Z1-26-341152 on Gray Road 28. I'll ask the clerk for the method of notice of the meeting and the dates of that notice. Vicky?
Thank you, Mayor Patterson, and through you. The notice of public meeting was posted on the Town of Hanover website and circulated to all commenting agencies and persons on March 13th, 2026, as required by Section 34 of the Planning Act. Circulation of the notice of public meeting included abutting property owners within 120 meters of the subject land and was also posted on the subject land. The application was reviewed by the Planning Advisory Committee on March 10th, 2026. Comments were received from Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority.
Thank you. And now I'm going to ask Andrew Wilkin, our Director of Development and Infrastructure and CBO, to give an overview of the item. Andrew?
Thank you, Your Worship. On February 5th, 2026, the town received a zoning bylaw amendment application for lands municipally known as 341152 Gray Road 28, Hanover. The proposed zoning amendment seeks to rezone the subject lands to permit a carpentry shop and showroom on the same lot that was previously occupied by former owner House Rules, which was a home design and decor outlet. The amendment proposes to rezone the entire property from what it was as a site-specific future development D23 zone to a general industrial M2 zone. The existing building on the property, the intention is that it will be repurposed for this carpentry shop use, along with the retail outlet. There is no exterior construction or site alterations that are currently proposed as a part of this application. It is strictly a change of use style application. Council may recall these lands were originally part of our special policy area prior to local official plan amendment number 3 in 2021, which ultimately designated all our special policy lands into designated lands. This one specifically fell into the industrial land portion of that LOPA 3, local official plan amendment 3. This property would be subject to site plan control based on the use, and staff recommend that any condition, if granted today, would be that the property does connect to municipal services when they do become available in that area. Ron Davidson, Land Use Planning Consultants, Inc. provided a planning justification with this report. It's dated February the 4th. Ron was to be on the call today. I don't see him on there. As the clerk mentioned, Planning Advisory Committees saw this application or heard this application on March 10th, 2026, subject to discussion, noted that this to proceed to this meeting here tonight. Also, as mentioned by our clerk, Saugeen Valley Conservation provided a comment. I will read. I don't believe it was in the package here tonight. It came after our report was complete. In summary, from Saugeen Valley, SVCA staff have reviewed the proposal for consistency with the PPS 2024 and SVCA's environmental planning and regulation policies made in conformance with governing legislation and technical guidance. The proposed application is considered acceptable by SVCA. Given the above comments, it is the opinion of SVCA staff that consistency with the natural hazard policies of the PPS has been demonstrated, and they ask to be informed of any decision here today. Staff actually also were in receipt of comment from Grey County late last week as well. In summary, Grey County Planning Ecology staff have reviewed the application and have no concerns. and Grey County Transportation staff have reviewed the application and have no concerns on the rezoning of the property. There are no financial implications to the town associated with this report. The link to the strategic plan is balanced growth, goal number 4. The recommendation is that report PB 7-26 public meeting for zoning bylaw amendment 3389-26 be received, and that council pass bylaw 3389-26 to rezone the lands described as part of lot 8, concession 2, NDR, and parts 1 and 3, reference plan 16R 11326, and known as 341152 Gray Road 28 in the town of Hanover, the county of Gray, from site-specific future development zone to general industrial zone. And I still do not see Ron on the call, so I will attempt to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Andrew. So members of the public will now be allowed to speak to the matter. All questions are to be addressed through the chair. So please state your name and address for the record. If there are persons present who wish to make written submissions on the proposed bylaw amendment, they should file them now with the clerk to form part of the record. This is in the event there is an appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal on this application. I will ask a second time if there are any members of the public who wish to speak or comment. And there is no one online at this time. Third and final time for questions or comments. Seeing none, the public portion of the meeting is finished and the floor is now closed, and discussion or debate is limited to council and staff. So before we discuss this, I need a mover and seconder for report PB 0726, moved by Councillor Hocking, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dickert. Council, any comments or questions? And none online. I will call the question. All in favor of report PB 0726?
In favor.
Thank you, Councillor Cable. That is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to our second public meeting. This is a public meeting under the Planning Act to amend Schedule I, Building Department of the 2026 Rates and Fees Bylaw, number 335725. Again, I'll ask the clerk for the method of the notice of the meeting and the dates of that notice.
Thank you, Mayor Patterson. Through you. Notice of the public meeting was posted on the Town of Hanover website and circulated to all commenting agencies and persons on February the 23rd, 2026, as required by Section 71C and Section 76 of the Building Code Act as amended. No comments were received.
Thank you. And I'll ask Andrew Wilkin, our Director of Development and Infrastructure, and also our CBO, to give an overview of the item. Andrew?
Thank you again, Your Worship. The Building Department provides mandatory legislated services under the Ontario Building Code Act and the Ontario Building Code, which includes permit review, inspections, and code enforcement. Municipalities are obligated to establish rates and fees to recover costs associated with administering and enforcing the building code. The current fee schedule has remained unchanged for several years, and for the most part remains completely intact here with these revisions. Some services that require staff resources may not be explicitly listed in the existing schedule. Thus, adding these items creates greater transparency for the applicants by clearly showing what services are included and when additional charges may apply. Although the town of Hanover does not currently have any agricultural designated lands, there is the potential in the future that actually may be the case. As it stands now, our rates and fees do not include any agricultural building permit fees. A review of the building permit fees with respect to comparable municipalities occurred as part of this review, and it's within the package, and I'll go through that a little bit as I work through the report. The new rates and fees that are proposed are as follows. Agricultural base building fee, $100 plus $30 per square foot. Accessory buildings base fee, $100 plus $30 per square foot. Currently, what we're utilizing right now is based on the land use itself, and we're charging a fee based on that. An accessory structure in a residential zone would be charged the same type of rate per construction as it would for a home. This just provides an alternative fee structure for an accessory building in instances like that. A septic review fee, $150. Third-party consultant and engineering costs as cost recoverable. This provides the municipality the ability at times, not too often, but at times to bring in a third-party engineering firm to confirm certain details or issues that might arise on a building. And it clearly gives us a provision to charge that back to the builder if we see that's deemed necessary. Updated fees currently listed in the rates and fees mainly revolve around septic systems and are as follows. Sewage system permit for class 2 or 3, $300. Sewage system permit for class 4 and 5, $600. Replacement, repair, or alterations of an existing system would be $400. We've removed class 1 as it's not applicable. Finally, within the rates and fees, there's a provision that construction without a building permit may impose an increased fee not exceeding double the amount that would otherwise be payable as part of this application. A fee structure similar to this is fairly typical in other municipalities. Currently, we have a fee structure that $150 could be charged if construction occurs without a building permit. We don't like to think that this structure would have to be imposed. However, some greater ability for there being a financial impetus for somebody to gain their permit before they proceed with construction would provide some assistance in making sure that the building code is complied with. We researched many other municipalities with respect to their wording on this, and it's very similar to what we've proposed here today in our rates and fees. If I can go through, I've included the notice that went out that our clerk indicated was posted on the website. There were no comments received as part of this. Schedule I, page 27 and 28 is the proposed updated fee schedule that would be included within our rates and fees. And 29 and 30 simply shows what they were prior to the proposed amendments. And finally, on page 31 of your package is a comparative to our 2 neighboring municipalities as to their fee structure, specifically on our new fees that we've proposed here today. There are no direct financial implications for this report. The link to the strategic plan is safe and reliable infrastructure and open and responsible government. And the recommendation is that report PB 826 amend Schedule I Building Department, the 2026 rates and fees bylaw number 3357-25 be received, and that council approves bylaw 3390-26 to amend Schedule I of the 2026 rates and fees bylaw. And I'll answer any questions on this.
Thank you, Andrew. Members of the public will now be allowed to speak to the matter. All questions are to be addressed through the chair. Please state your name and address for the record. If there are any persons present who wish to make written submissions on the proposed bylaw amendment, they should file them now with the clerk to form part of the record. This is in the event there is an appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal on this application. I will ask the second time for any comments or questions, and I do not see any online at this time. And third and final time, with no questions or comments. The public portion of the meeting is finished. The floor is now closed and discussion or debate is limited to council and staff present. I need a mover and seconder before we discuss PB 0826. Councillor Hudson and Councillor Fleet. Council, questions, comments? Deputy Mayor Dick.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Andrew, for this information. Just curious, if there's a septic system being installed, do we have the expertise internally to do those inspections, or do we get a third party to do that?
Through Your Worship, yeah, it's town staff do have the expertise and have the qualifications to review that, specifically Jordan Whitmore.
Other questions or comments from council? And none online. I will call the question. All in favor of PB 0826. Councillor Fleet is in favor and Councillor Cable. Thank you. That is carried. All right, we'll move on to item 8. This is delegations. And we have one delegation this afternoon. And that is regarding the Saugeen Municipal Airport Development Concept. Councillor Hawking, who is the chair of the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission, is going to present the information. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good afternoon, Council and staff. Thanks for the opportunity to share our vision and our plans for the future. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment just to introduce following people who are in our audience today and are great participants in the process. We have Steve Furness, who is the Attraction Investment Officer for County of Grey. We have Lene Catalan, Economic Development for the County of Grey. We have Luigi Presta from our consultant and Think Compass, and we have Catherine McKay, our recording secretary. Luigi and Steve will assist me in answering some questions with regard to the vision that we've included in your package. First of all, I'd like, and I'm sure you're aware of this, I am pleased to inform Council that we have turned the Saugeen Municipal Airport around, having 3 successive years of a surplus. And we are now poised to take the next step. The next step is to be shovel-ready or investment-ready for potential investors who are looking for aviation-related opportunities. Our goal is not to compete with our 3 municipalities, but to complement and support our municipalities by expanding and focusing on our aviation-related development. In your package, you received a report from Steve Furness, which outlined the many uses that we are looking at for the airport. Currently, the municipality of Brockton is undergoing a bylaw zoning review, and the timing is just correct for us to submit our potential zoning changes so that we can be flexible in attracting any potential airport-related industry. On March the 18th, the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission unanimously supported the concept plan or the vision and passed the following motion. And I'll read it to you. The Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission receive and accept the report prepared by Grey County staff outlining a development concept for the Saugeen Municipal Airport, and that the Commission support a range of potential uses identified within the concept plan as a framework to guide future development, investment traction, and the long-term financial sustainability of the airport. Our goal would be, by incorporating new businesses ranging from commercial and industrial, and maybe looking into hangar homes through the residential side, the airport would become self-sustaining and would no longer need municipal contributions. That's the long-term goal. Our concept plan includes 4 points. The 3 municipal airport partners will benefit from the thriving regional economy, making the best use of airport lands. Ensure that the airport is investment ready or shovel ready, as some say, to attract investors interested in aviation related industries. I want to repeat that, aviation related industries. Pursue zoning changes to allow maximum flexibility in airport related uses. And those are outlined in the report that Steve provided for us on March the 18th. And finally, seek financial support from infrastructure development from federal and provincial governments. If you've been following the media lately, you'll hear the words air, rail, trains, which is rail, roads. So I think Prime Minister Carney and especially our Premier is interested in the expansion in those areas. Once the 3 municipalities have approved our plan, we will forward our list of potential uses to the municipality of Brockton Bylaw Review Committee so that these uses can be incorporated in the airport lands. We were at West Grey this morning and received support from them. Hopefully we'll receive the same support from the town of Hanover, and we are scheduled to make a presentation to Brockton on April the 28th, which will then lead into the review process. Our idea is to expand the potential availability. Right now, we are hampered by the zoning. We did just lose a potential client because the zoning didn't allow it, and they just got tired of waiting. So we are excited and ready to go, and it certainly will be a well addition to our airport. If I may, I would like to thank Steve and Luigi for their time and effort that they have given to the commission as we get ready to move forward. They have been instrumental in not only being a support, but also to educate us as we become, I'm going to say, a hub for Southwestern Ontario. I ran into a person the other day who said 40 years ago, the Waterloo Airport was like the Soggy Municipal Airport. And look what's happened over 40 years. We have established, we're ready for business approach. We are getting numerous inquiries of people wanting to move to our airport, which is a very, very good sign. So we're ready to take the leap. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it probably won't happen in my time of council, but we're going to lay the framework for future development. And I want to repeat again, it's to complement our 3 municipalities. It's establish regional growth in the economy, and everyone benefits because when we bring business to the airport, which will be both in the commercial and industrial sector, as well as we've got long-term plans for hangar homes development. So that is my presentation, Your Worship, and we're open to any questions from council. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Council. Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Hocking, for your report. I remember going to a meeting, it seems like so long ago, but I was on council, so it was at least 2022, when you were just beginning and the commission was trying to strategize what could we do to save the airport. And I'm just so impressed with the vision that you now have for Soggy Municipal Airport. And I'm also thrilled to see that Brockton and West Grey and Hanover are working together on this vision. I know a lot of work has gone into this, and I too wish to thank Steve and Luigi for all of their time and effort. But I do have a question revolving around the whole issue of which municipality will be in charge of applying for funding. Will it come from all 3 municipalities and then through the commission, or how will that work when you're applying to provincial and federal governments?
It would be the commission, which represents the 3 municipalities, but I know someone who has a better answer than I do, and that is Luigi. He's the guru. He's got this down pat. So Luigi again.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So it would be the commission applying to the province and the feds on behalf of the municipality. So the money would be given through the commission, and the commission being responsible to apply the funds themselves. So the stakeholders would, as the owners, the three municipalities, as the owners of the land, would ideally be responsible for the risk, but it would be given to the commission to manage the funds.
Thank you, Your Worship. So are you hopeful, Luigi, to receive funding from both provincial and federal?
We feel very confident that based on a lot of the programs that the levels of government, the different levels of government have for projects, for infrastructure projects such as this one, we feel very confident that we will be successful in receiving the required funds to move forward.
Councillor Cable online.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Hawking, for the report. Just wondering, can you clarify how water servicing currently works at the airport? Does the airport terminal access water from the town of Hanover, or are they on an independent well?
Thank you for your question, Councillor Cable. The town of Hanover supplies the airport from the well at the airport. And I might add, they give us a good rate at it too.
And if I'm understanding correctly from the proposal, so you're talking about an independent sewer system that would be installed to service the development. And then is the idea that the town of Hanover would service the water side of things for your hangar homes and hotel and some of those other pieces of the vision?
That's to be determined, but I would say that would be the easy way because the water line is, only 100 feet. But if you looked at the vision, the sewage system has to be sort of, if I could refer to it as a aquarobic system, which would be self-contained. There are municipalities that are currently using that because the cost to run sewer lines to Hanover and Walkerton are prohibitive. So I'll let Luigi also expand on my answer.
So we're currently looking at solutions that'll satisfy the requirements for the development that we're proposing. We are looking at standalone systems as an option. It's still something that we are spending a lot of time to understand what the risks are to the actual airport and the municipalities themselves. So we're hoping at the Grey County level, we can come up with a possible recommendation on how to go forward with regards to services, but it is something that the province does support. And as we continue to look for funding, it's something that could be funded by the different levels of government as well.
Anything
Thank you.
further? Okay, good. Thanks, Councillor Cable. Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Hawking and Luigi. Mine's kind of on the funding side as well. You're anticipating federal and provincial monies, but typically they wouldn't be 100% of the project. So are they looking to the local municipalities for a portion of that as well? Or is this going to be some private money that would be invested there? When I looked at the drawings and that, it looks like there's going to be a lot of roads required because I'm assuming cars and planes can't use the same asphalt. And if you have those hangar homes, they obviously need to get from that garage or the home to the runway. So maybe you can just elaborate a bit on that as well.
So early on in the process, in terms of creating the vision, each of the sections, the residential and the commercial industrial being separate, in isolation in a sense. So the residential development would be self-containing. So working with any developers that would be looking to partner with the commission and the airport itself would be responsible for some of the infrastructure work over and above the water and waste. So that would be supplied by the one main system, but the infrastructure required for the housing, which sits on the west side of the airport, would be self-contained to that development per se. So we are looking at models as we go forward where the funding is either going to come through support through the different levels of government or through the private sector. So at no time do we anticipate coming back to the municipality itself or municipalities for any infrastructure funding. One of the things that we can draw on, I guess, the level of success as we continue to reach milestones, we are increasing the value of the asset itself as we continue to go through this process, as we continue to identify the max use and development opportunities within the space. There is an increased value in the land itself, which, if required and if sustainable, we can draw from that equity to be able to reinvest into the lands and development as we continue to go forward.
Other comments or questions? And none online. So I'll ask you, Dave, are you looking for a formal endorsement as in like a motion?
I believe Vicky has the wording, and it actually matches the one that we received this morning at West Gray. So I'll let her read that, and it would be great if you gave us the support, so that then we move to our next stage and final stage is to present to Brockton with all our potential uses and get that incorporated into a bylaw. And then we make a next step to sort of open the door and wait for the investors to come roaring in, and we'd have to, no, you know what I mean. I'm being a bit facetious, but it has unbelievable potential. I mean, I just wish I could share one of the stories that we have going right now, and hopefully it will come to fruition. But again, it's not there yet. So hopefully in May we'll be able to give you some good news. But having said that, I should be quiet, Vicky, and let you read the motion.
Okay, Vicky, our clerk, is going to read the motion.
That in consideration of the presentation by the chairperson of the Saugeen Municipal Airport Commission regarding the development concept plan and proposed airport-related uses at the Saugeen Municipal Airport, council supports the proposed plan in principle.
Thank you. So I need a mover, Councillor Sackle and Councillor Hudson. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
In favor.
And Councillor Fleet is in favor. Thank you, Councillor Cable. That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we'll move on to item 9. This is council minutes. And this is the regular council meeting minutes from March the 16th. And I need a mover and seconder. And I'm going to say to pass these minutes as amended, because if you follow under resolution number 63-26, which was the motion regarding the trails, there's a housekeeping item, 19th Avenue should be 19th Street. So I'd like to see a mover and seconder as amended. Councillor Sackle and Deputy Mayor Dickert. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of items. We had a delegation from Alicia Tilker and Courtney Conaway regarding the East End Trail Development Project. And it was carried that the entire proposed East End Trail from the existing community trail east to 24th Avenue be eliminated, and further negotiations occur with the developer to reallocate the developer's trail contribution to the construction of sidewalks. And I'm not going to list all the sidewalks. We also approved the Grey County Urban Roads Transfer Follow-Up Report that came from our staff. And our council and staff had quite a few concerns with this transfer. And I can say at the March 26th County Council meeting, the transfer of the roads and exchange of the roads was referred back to the county task force. So I am a member of that task force, so there'll be more information coming as we meet. We also approved the town's donation policy. And we approved engaging the services of an external recruitment firm for the CAO recruitment. Are there any questions or comments with those minutes? Councillor Cable?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just wondering, on the wording of the motion around the East End Trail, I just wonder if it's created a little bit of confusion. My understanding from the motion is that the trail connection on the south side is being rerouted from the wetland to a sidewalk-based system, but that connections to the East End Trail Loop are still going to exist through the sidewalks. I guess I just don't want it to be interpreted that there's no connection from the Cedar West subdivision to the trail. I think that's some of the confusion that I'm hearing.
But technically, there is no connection. There is a sidewalk. So if you want to call the sidewalk a connection, you can, but it's not a path. It's not a trail. It's not even a link. It's a sidewalk. Go ahead, Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess I'm imagining the piece where you come from the soccer field into the Cedar West subdivision, that connection is still going to exist, that you'll be able to walk off the sidewalk directly onto the community trail. And then on the other end of the subdivision, on the northeast section, you would still be able to connect across to the section of trail that is east of 24th Ave. I think it should also be noted that it's my understanding that the trail refurbishment east of 24th Avenue is still continuing in the budget this year.
Well, I'm going to suggest that this motion reflects council direction from that meeting. And if you're trying to capture all of those other pieces, we maybe need to turn to Clerk Vicky on that, because this really reflected council's direction from March 16th, that the East End Trail from the existing community trail, which is where it comes into Saugeen Cedar Heights West, to 24th Ave be eliminated, which is correct. That's through the wetlands. That was council direction. And that further negotiations occur to then utilize sidewalks, 18th Street, 23rd Ave, and sorry, was it 19th Street? Was that the correction?
Yes.
Thank you. Accordingly.
Yes, I don't disagree that the wording is correct. I just think that there's confusion amongst the population that there's not going to be any connection between Cedar West and the trail system, which I don't believe to be true.
So you think that needs to be reflected in the motion? I guess that's where I'm coming from.
I think it's perhaps just how the motion was interpreted, right? Perhaps the news article saying that the trail had been scrapped. I think some of those phrasings has led to some confusion.
So I think that's up to staff and council then, when you're met with those, to provide that clarification. I haven't heard that specifically. I've heard other concerns, but I haven't heard that one specifically.
Like, to me, this is the motion that occurred. We can't change that motion. Like, right? Go ahead, clerk.
In order to amend the motion, it would need to be brought back for reconsideration by someone that voted on the prevailing side.
But I don't think that's your concern. Right. So either you have to explain to people, like, there's no other way of changing this, right? That is the actual emotion that occurred during the meeting. So, okay. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor of adopting the regular council meeting minutes from March 16th? 1, 2, 3, 4. And Councillor Fleet is in favor. That is carried. Thank you. Item 9.2, this is the special council meeting minutes from March the 30th. I need a mover and seconder. I have Councillor Fleet and Councillor Hawking. And that was a special meeting where we approved a bylaw to authorize the Community Emergency Preparedness and response funding agreement, and that was the only item on the agenda. Any questions, discussion? None online, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We do not have any business arising from the minutes, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. And I will ask if there are any items that you wish to be discussed separately. Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Worship. I'm wondering if staff can highlight report 11.2 on Earth Day in Hanover as an information item. And also wondering if we need to discuss item 11.6, Municipality of Brockton's resolution regarding Town of Hanover well replacement.
Okay. Anyone else wish to pull any items? Seeing none, I need a mover and seconder, and this is for 11.1, 11.3, 11.4, 11.7, and 11.8. I need a mover and seconder for the consent agenda. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Sacco. All in favor? That is carried. So now we'll move on to 11.2. This is report PRC 0326. The subject is the Earth Day in Hanover. It's from Laura Kristen, Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture, and our CAO is going to highlight that. And before she does, moved by Councillor Cable, seconded by Councillor Sacco. Sherry?
Thank you, Worship. So Earth Day is on Wednesday, April 22nd. And as part of our Earth Day initiative that has been held for the last number of years, there will be a community cleanup hosted on that Wednesday evening starting at 6 o'clock at the P&H Center. And Hallman Motors is our corporate sponsor for our Earth Day event. And we are challenging our community members to come out and assist us with picking up litter from around town in the community and filling a Hallman Motors truck accordingly. So that's again on April 22nd at 6 p.m. meeting at the P&H Center, and there will be some light refreshments provided for the volunteers. And it usually takes an hour to an hour and a half, whatever time that people have to give that evening. Secondly, we're just again the Zero Waste Challenge, which is we're encouraging residents to think about how they can reduce their waste footprint, whether that's through reuse, recycling, small changes such as turning off the water when you're brushing your teeth, not using single-use plastics in your lunches, trying to pack that lunch being litterless as such, and using reusable water bottles accordingly. My husband's trying to teach me a few of those things about water in our household, I have to admit. So anyways, and then the community-wide yard sale will occur on the Saturday following Earth Day on April 25th. And this is just that good chance to give your things that might be useful to others a second life. And so we are encouraging those who are wishing to participate in the community-wide yard sale to register using the Town of Hanover yard sale form that we have available on our website at hanover.ca. And if you register by April 20th, then you'll be added to a map that'll show you, for all those yard sale gurus out there, there'll be a map provided that'll show you all of the spots in town that are having a yard sale that day. So that's a highlight of the three events, and we're appreciative to Hallman Motors for their support of this event.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? We haven't filled a truck before,
No,
so
we
that's
haven't.
different. Oh, we'll see. We'll see who does that. Was that? Oh, right. Right.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. It's coughing away.
All right, so all in favor of receiving report PRC 0326? And Councillor Fleet is in favor. That is carried. Item 12, staff reports requiring action. This is, oh,
11.6.
oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Item 11.6, this was pulled from the consent agenda. I need a mover and seconder before we discuss that. So we have Councillor Cable and Councillor Sacco.
I think the lead there. Hudson.
Sorry, Councillor Hudson. I was looking at you. Go ahead, Sherry.
Just CAO Watson from Brockton did provide me with a heads up that this resolution had occurred at their Brockton meeting on March 10th. And again, I think it's been prompted because of inquiries from their residents at both Mara Lake and Lake Rossland, which we as staff have also been in communication with. So it is, and I'll maybe ask Andrew to highlight a little bit further, but it is our intent that there will be opportunity for a public information session similar to what we've done recently with our roads project, once we have more information from our consulting firm with respect to this project to provide some of that clarity and confirmation. And I know that the Lake Association reps have also reached out to Andrew directly and looking to have a direct meeting in April accordingly. So I think at this point, this really is more for our information, and we are following the processes accordingly. So I'd welcome through you, Mayor, so if Andrew has stuff to add to that.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Through your worship, yeah, no, that's correct. The town will complete any hydrological study requirements and assessments we need to do, any public information work that we need to do with respect to legislation. I think the announcement, the public announcement of the funding has kind of brought this to light as well. We are finalizing our scope with Ainley Consultants on exactly what that looks like. We've got a call with them in the next week or so. And yes, we've been talking to the Lake Association in an effort to meet with them one-on-one later this month. And then ultimately, as the information is ready to provide, we'll complete a public information session as well.
Anything that covers everything? Okay, that item 11.6, we're going to receive this for information. All in favor? And Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor. That is carried. Item HR 0326, this is page 98 of the package. The subject is the Joint Health and Safety 037 Infection Control. It is the COVID-19 immunization policy update. It's from Melissa Hilgendorf, our Human Resources Manager. I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Hocking. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just before I begin, just checking you can hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So JHS 037 Infection Control is our COVID-19 immunization policy, and it was initially introduced in September of 2021 and has been amended over time in response to changes in the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as evolving legislation and public health directives and guidance around COVID-19 vaccination. At its March 2026 meeting, the town's Joint Health and Safety Committee reviewed the policy and its associated form in accordance with normal review cycles, as the policy was last updated 4 years ago in 2022. Proposed revisions to the policy and related form, which is JHS 037 F1 COVID-19 Vaccination Medical Exemption Form, are shown in red font and strike through within the documents enclosed with the report. So throughout COVID-19 pandemic and beyond, the town has always acted in accordance with the provincial direction and in accordance with advice from public health. The proposed revisions to the policy continue to align with public health directives and also with the current COVID-19 landscape. And it also maintains our ability to respond promptly should anything federally or provincially or from public health change around mandates related to COVID-19 vaccination for any of our staff groups. Revisions to the medical or the immunization medical exemption form are also recommended to make that document a bit more generalized and better aligned with the guidance and provisions related to medically recognized exemptions from COVID-19 vaccination. There are no financial implications associated with this report. It links to strategic plan goal number 5, open and responsible government. The recommendation is that report HR 0326 JHS 037 Infection Control COVID-19 Immunization Policy Update be received, and that council approve revisions to the policy and related form as presented for implementation in the town's policy manual. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Melissa. Are there any comments or questions? Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for your work on this, Melissa. My only question is that the term designated group comes up quite often in the document. I just wondered if you could give me an example of what a designated group is.
Of course, through you, Your Worship. Designated group is a term that we are utilizing within this policy to allow us to act in any sort of way that may be required through direction from public health or the province or federal bodies related to immunization for staff. So if I could use an example from previous, there are designated groups that used to be covered would have been first responders such as firefighters.
Thank you, Melissa. Any other comments or questions? And none online, so I will call the question. All in favor? And Councillor Fleet is in favor. That is carried. Thank you. Item 12.2, this is page 108 of the package, is report PW 0626. The subject is the 2025 Drinking Water Quality Management System Annual Update. It's from Andrew Wilkin, our Director of Development and Infrastructure and CBO. I need a mover and seconder to put this on the floor. Councillor Hawking and Councillor Sackle. Andrew?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm actually going to turn this over to Ted, our Chief Operator, who's online, and he's going to do an overview of the report.
Thanks, Andrew. So this is a 2025 Drinking Water Quality Management System Annual Update. As part of the Municipal Drinking Water Licensing Program, the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks requires owners of the municipal residential drinking water system to develop and maintain an operational plan based on the Drinking Water Quality Management Standard. The operational plan documents the operating authority's quality management system and demonstrates how the town meets the requirements of the DWQMS. The Town of Hanover's DWQMS was first implemented in February 2012 and included council endorsement and public notice through the municipal website, water and sewer billing, and a hard copy available at the Civic Center. Council has endorsed updates to the operational plan annually, with the most recent endorsement occurring on April 7th, 2025. Since the last endorsement, several key activities have been completed to evaluate the effectiveness of the town's quality management system and to ensure ongoing compliance with the DWQMS. The external audit happened on August 20th, 2025. NSF completed the 2025 external surveillance audit on August 20th, 2025, with no nonconformities were identified. One opportunity for improvement was noted relating to element 19. That was recommending the internal audit reports document, which auditor assessed each DWQMS audit, DWQMS element. This OFI has been addressed and is reflected in the 2025 internal audit documentation. Internal audit happened on October 23rd and October 30th, 2025. Acclaims Environmental completed the town's internal audit for the period of October 4th, 2024 to October 30th, 2025. No nonconformities were identified. 2 OFIs were noted. The first one being element 5, document and records control. The auditor recommended describing the process for disposal of the documents and records, referencing the town's record bylaw and clerk's department requirements. The second OFI is element 10, competencies. The auditor recommend implementing an onboarding training program to confirm employees are trained on relevant operational duties and SOPs. Both OFIs have been assigned through the continuing improvement tracking process and are in progress of being completed. Number 3, so the management review meeting, it happened on December 17th, 2025. The annual management review was completed on December 17th, 2025, covering the period of December 17th, 2024 to December 17th, 2025. The review confirmed the continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the QMS. Several operational issues were discussed, including filter flow exceedances, low chlorine residuals at the distribution location, SCADA upgrades, raw water quality trends, and staffing needs. Corrective actions have been implemented where required, and all items from the previous management review have been addressed. The 2025 emergency training and test exercise was completed on October 30th, 2025. The scenario involved a Category 2 water main break with evident contamination, followed by odor complaints, and a confirmed chemical contamination event involving malathion introduced through unauthorized hydrant use. The exercise included a review of the water main disinfection procedure, AWQI reporting requirements, and emergency communication. The exercise identified opportunities to strengthen backflow prevention controls and emergency contact lists, which are being incorporated into future planning. Operational plan updates. The 2026 operational plan had been reviewed and updated. Changes reflected administrative updates, revised endorsements, signatures, and integration of audit and management review outcomes. The structure and content of the plan is consistent with the DWQMS 2.0 requirements. No major procedural changes were required for elements 1 to 21, except routine annual updates and the incorporation of audit-related improvements. The next is just all the changes of the elements. For the most part, they're just top management title changes and organizational structure changes. The financial implication is there's no financial implication as a result of this report. And the link to strategic plan is safe and reliable infrastructure, healthy and welcoming community, and open, responsible government. The recommendation is that PW 0626 Drinking Water Quality Management System annual update be received. The council accept the external audit, internal audit, management review, and emergency training exercises completed in 2025. And that council approve and endorse the updated 2026 operational plan for the town of Hanover drinking water system. I would be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Ted. Council, Councillor Sackel.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Ted, for your report. Ted, I'd like to ask you about page 130 of our council package, considering potential sources of raw water contamination at Rural Lake. You mentioned possible trespassers and a potential for vandalism. So I'm curious, do we have any cameras? Do we have no trespassing signs? And have we had any incidents of either of those at Rural Lake?
We have no trespassing signs. We don't have any cameras. I guess we could look into that. It would be tough to have them out there. It is a rather large property. It is gated and locked. The only time I can think of anyone trespassing there was quite a few years ago, where a neighbor called and reported that there was someone out fishing there, and I went out there and told them to get off the lake. But that's the only time we've had any issues with trespassing.
That's great to hear. Thanks, Ted.
Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. And thank you, Ted. As always, very detailed, comprehensive, transparent. Our community should be really happy about being so well informed. My question is just wondering on page 159, where you're mentioning that in the future you may need to have another full-time compliance officer. to keep the water and wastewater plant records up to date. Any idea as to how long that may be before that needs to occur?
As the years go on, the water is getting more. There's more paperwork involved with water treatment as well as wastewater treatment. It would be nice to have a compliance officer, but right now we're making do without one.
Well, then you're doing a very good job. Thank you, Ted.
Any other comments? Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thanks Ted and Andrew for the report. I just want to say thanks. You know, it's great to go for yet a year of no non-conformances, and the opportunities for improvement were all acted on and implemented. So, just a word of thanks to the staff there for a great job.
And Ted, I also want to recognize the important work being carried out by yourself and the water and wastewater staff just to ensure the continued safety and quality of our drinking water. This is a critical service that our residents rely on every single day, and it requires a high level of diligence, expertise, and ongoing commitment. And seeing that the report is not only in compliance, but you're meeting all the regulatory requirements is excellent. So thank you to you and your staff, Ted.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I will call, Deputy Mayor Dickert.
I just wanted to add that the length of that report certainly gave us an idea what type of paperwork is involved with it. So, wow.
Yes, a lot of regulatory requirements. So, all right, all in favor of PW 0626, the Drinking Water Quality Management System Annual Update for 2025. And Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor. That is carried. Thank you. Item 12.3 is report PW 0826. The subject is the reconstruction of 6th Street A from 13th Avenue to 15th Avenue. It's from Jamie McCarthy, our Manager of Public Works and Projects. And I need a mover and seconder before she highlights the report. I have Councillor Cable and Councillor Hawking. Jamie?
Thank you, Mayor Patterson and members of council. I'll be providing an overview of tender award report for the reconstruction of 6th Street A from 13th Avenue to 15th Ave. During budget, these streets were identified as requiring reconstruction, as they have older water, sanitary, and storm infrastructure, as well as our wide streets. The replacement of the underground services is in line with the asset management plan and the levels of service established within that report. Installation of curb and gutter with sidewalk on the north side will allow the ability for pedestrians to connect 7th Street and to the park to the east. A total of 12 contractors obtained the tender documents, with 4 submitting a bid. Curtis Smith Excavating is the recommended bidder, and they have worked on roads in Hanover in the past. Most recently, 15th Street closed. All tenders were reviewed by Cobite Engineering, and they recommend to move ahead with the tender award for approximately $2.2 million plus the non-recoverable HST. Adequate funds are available as seen in the financial section. In addition, that the mayor and clerk enter into a contract with Curtis Smith for the reconstruction of 6th Street A. Thank you, and I could take any questions.
Thank you, Jamie. Any comments or questions? Councillor Hawking.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thanks for the report, Jamie. I found it astounding that the difference between the proposed and the actual tender was $14. Amazing. Anyway, that's my comment.
Okay, good. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of PW 0826. 1, 2. And Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor, so that is carried. Thank you, Jamie. Item 13 is committees of council minutes, and this is starting on page 294 of the package. And we have 8 sets of minutes. I think Councillor Sackle is going to highlight most of them, but I need a mover and seconder before we start highlighting the minutes. So I'll take Councillor Hawking and Councillor Fleet. Can I take you as a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fleet. So the first one, item 13.1, is the Emergency Management Program, or EMPC minutes. I am going to highlight those. During that meeting, meeting was held on March 6th, sorry. During that meeting, we reviewed the critical infrastructure list, and you may see that as CI. It was reviewed and it will be updated. We also had reviewed the public education strategy and planned for 2026. And we discussed the updated list of evacuation and reception centers. And we looked at who's responding notification, and it's working well. This is an app that overrides programs and sounds on your cell phone, even if you have the sound turned off. And I can guarantee that it works because I knew I had a meeting and I put my cell phone with the sound turned down between the mattress and the mattress pad, and I could still hear it while I was on a virtual call. So it does work, and it's widely used by fire departments and first responders, and it allows for group messages and tracking. So once that notice goes off, if you respond, you can say the incident commander can figure out that you're 15 minutes away or 20 minutes away, or maybe you are an hour and we can't rely on you getting there as quick as we want you there, and we go for someone else to step into that position. So it's very good and working well so far. We also were preparing for our 2026 mock, and we will be reviewing the need for an agreement with a local transportation company for the use of buses if required during an emergency. And happy to take any questions if there are any. Okay, we'll move on. Item 13.2, this is the Economic Tourism and Cultural Development Advisory Committee minutes. Councillor Sackle.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the Economic Tourism Cultural Development Advisory Committee met on March the 18th. And as always, April's notes are pretty detailed, so I'll do my best to be efficient. The Business Retention and Expansion Next Step session was discussed, and April Marshall presented an overview of the town's Business Retention and Expansion Initiative that happened between August and October of 25. 61 local businesses gave us some input. They provided a snapshot of current business conditions. So the overall results suggested a generally positive business climate in Hanover. There were a few constraints identified that could affect long-term growth. Members discussed several key challenges raised by respondents, including difficulties in attracting and retaining skilled labor, limited availability of commercial and industrial space, and hurdles associated with navigating municipal approvals. Staff also provided a summary of engagement sessions that were held to garner further feedback. And April presented to the Hanover Chamber of Commerce February breakfast meeting. The committee discussed the desire to engage businesses that may not typically attend public sessions or respond to surveys. That seems to be a bit of a hurdle. The committee moved into facilitated session to provide further input into themes and actions to further the study. Downtown plan. April Marshall provided an update on the work related to that. She noted that staff continued to collaborate with the Downtown Improvement Area and the Hanover Chamber of Commerce to start to coordinate events better, to market efforts, to long-term planning for the downtown core, including the Saturday market by incorporating additional events, sidewalk sales, maybe some family-oriented activities to encourage increased foot traffic, and perhaps longer visitor stays. The possibility of periodic street closures was discussed as well as a means of creating a more pedestrian-friendly space, and the importance of continued investment in downtown infrastructure was noted. Under community partners and initiatives, Grey County has provided regarding ongoing collaboration with Grey County under the existing Memorandum of Understanding, which relates to regional economic development and investment attraction. As we heard today, the Saugeen Municipal Airport also talked about regional partners and future development opportunities that are pretty exciting. Under Saugeen Connects or WOWSA, they are currently implementing the Advancing Women Economic webinar series that provides valuable training in relation to starting and growing their business. We held a successful International Women's Day event at the Hanover's new Carriage House Event Center with a marketplace, with a keynote address, and a great supper and networking. Hanover Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber's role in disseminating information through newsletters and social media was highlighted as a key communication tool for reaching local businesses. The DIA included some new social media initiatives, business promotions, and the appointment of a new communications and marketing coordinator to enhance downtown marketing efforts. And under Clean Energy Frontier, April reported on the Regional Community Resiliency Project and ongoing work related to clean energy development. And that's all for that. Are there any questions?
Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question about the appointment of communications and marketing coordinator. Is that, that's not the Town of Hanover one, that's someone else?
It's Mackenzie. I don't know her married last name, but she has a few jobs around town, and apparently she's a social media whiz, so they're very happy to have her.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions, so 13.2.1, please.
Cultural Roundtable Subcommittee minutes. They met on Wednesday, February the 11th. Kathy Maskell was welcomed as the new Hanover Library Board of Directors representative, and Carolyn Cascanet joined in that night as well. April updated them on the downtown plan, and members expressed how impressed they have been with the thoroughness and creativity of the process so far. Music in the Square was also mentioned, with some ongoing feedback about the change in event days, and considered whether it should be a standalone cultural activity or continue to be coordinated to better support other events. And based on our last meeting, it looks like they're going to keep the Saturday date. The library and the Hanover Community Players explored opportunities to offer some craft activities as well, and Saugeen artists are looking at participating. Downtown Street Banners 4.3, Bev Morgan has begun working with the Saugeen Artists Guild on collecting artworks to develop new downtown street banners. And she once again wants to remind us that there is quite a good interest in a future cultural center. You're welcome, Bev, for that promotion on my part, and that she'd love to see the murals as part of that, maybe in Culture Days, to highlight them. Under the Joint Cultural Roundtable, I'm sure you've heard by now that the Cultural Symposium is happening on Friday, April 24th. This year, it's going to be held at the Arthur Community Center. And finally, under Roundtable member updates, Stephen Ferguson of the Hanover Community Players talked about the success of School of Rock, and the money that was raised, $705, was given to the Bruce Gray Mentorship. So way to go, Community Players. Rehearsals are underway. The next show is Unnecessary Farce, beginning April 24th and running to May the 3rd. And there's also the Western Ontario Drama League Festival, which should be interesting, being held in Hanover this year from May the 14th to the 17th, where 3 plays will be judged and other workshops and events will be organized. Carolyn Cascanet shared that the Hanover Library is looking at a policy update to showcase local artwork in the Civic Center Library, and they're bringing back the Coffee with series, plus promoting Tea with Staff series. Mayor, you might get an invite. Planning is underway for a fundraiser in June. And finally, Kathy Maskell promoted February as Love Your Library Month, so you might see stickers on its stores. I realize it's now April, but those stickers should still be on store windows if they accepted them. And Bev talked about the Holstein Maple Fest Syrup Festival this year. The Saugeen artists are going to be involved with that, and that is happening April 11th and 12th. She's also going to open up her home with 4 other artists for the Fall Studio Autumn Leaves Studio Tour. And the Guild will be featured at the Minto Arts Gallery this September. And I think that's all. If there are any comments or questions.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions? Councillor Hudson?
What you have just told us, is that in our package or was that from your last meeting?
It was omitted, so I contacted the clerk and let her know.
Okay.
And it was sent out today in an email for your observation. But I was the only one that really needed it, Councillor Hudson. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? And none online. So if you could highlight one more, Councillor Sackle, 13.2.2, and that is the Heritage Subcommittee minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Hanover Heritage Subcommittee met on Thursday, February the 19th, and they received some interesting donations, I thought. There's a 1930s pocket watch and cigarette case donated by the Shank family, and the United Church name quilt was donated by Sally Corman. They were also pointing out that the Bruce County Heritage Association Toy Show is happening. Oops, that was March 29th. I hope you went and enjoyed yourselves. The Heritage Week, that too has passed from February 16th to the 22nd, so I think I'll move on. The review of Windows in Time posters. The committee approved a draft letter to invite local businesses to participate in a refresh, because I know it's already been done in the past, and they want to coordinate it with the 2026 Canada Day celebrations. As far as the historical homes update, the committee provided direction that the historical homes recognition plaques be modeled after the business recognition plaques. So a 10 by 12 inch with an oval shape and dark brown background and gold colored font is what they are planning on. The Furniture Factory display at the P&H Center is now set up if you want to go see it. And just a final note about the child remains that were found regarding that 18-month-old skeleton from the 1800s that was discovered on a commercial property in town. The remains have been released, and the committee is now going to participate in a burial ceremony scheduled for the spring, and I think that's lovely. So are there any questions or comments? I'd be happy to answer.
Councillor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm not sure, Councillor Sackle, if you know the answer to this, but for 6.3 for the historical homes, is the committee planning to make a map or a way that visitors would be able to go and tour, drive around, get a sense of what the home's purpose was?
Those all sound like wonderful ideas. I hope they're listening. I don't know the answer to that, so sorry.
I'll share that with Laura, who's the staff liaison to the committee. Secondly, Driftscape, the app, is certainly the app that we're using for a lot of our tours and links. As an example, like all of our business plaques are currently on the Driftscape app, as well as the cemetery tour, that type of thing. So
That's good. I forgot about Driftscape, so. Okay, and my apologies, you have one more, Councillor Sackle. Age friendly.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I messed out. Yeah, I messed up there. Deputy Mayor Dickert, my apologies on this side. 13.3, and I did even rate Councillor Sackle. Please go ahead.
No worries. The age-friendly committee meeting was March 16th. We welcomed our newest committee member, which is Suzanne Kunkel. We have tried to get a new chair for that committee, but we have had to defer it till the next meeting. I think we'll be successful there. Most of this meeting was focused on preparing for the Active Aging Expo, which I might add was a great success. And my thanks to Brandon Dobson and for his great leadership on this event, and the committee members for their support. A committee member also shared details of the 2026 Healthy Communities Conference hosted by Grey Bruce Public Health. It's a 2-day event bringing together community leaders, service providers, planners, and partners to explore how we can build a culture of wellness in our region. That will be April 27th and 28th in Owen Sound. And there is pre-registration and a fee involved with that, but anyone that is interested can certainly find that online and partake. Those are my minutes.
Thank you. And yes, the Seniors Expo was very good. Both speakers were good and the exhibits were good and the hall was beautiful. The carriage house by the Hanover Bentinck and Brant Agricultural Society. All right, item 13.4. This is Parks, Recreation and Culture Advisory Committee minutes, highlighted by Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Parks, Recreation and Culture Advisory Committee met on Wednesday, March the 26th. We started with a presentation by Steve Van Dusen and John Mitchell from the Hanover Youth Basketball League, and they provided the committee with an overview of their league successes, growth, challenges, and needs. And interesting to know that that particular league has been together for 20 years. They run from November to mid-April and have approximately 100 kids involved in that. Some of their challenges are still finding gym space and qualified coaches and reps to help facilitate all of those, the looking after of all of those 100 kids. And some of the pros of that league, though, is that it's a low cost to join, about $120, and includes a jersey and at least 15 games. There was considerable discussion on the East End Trail update, and committee members expressed some concerns regarding council's decision. And then there was a motion made that the PRC Advisory Committee ask council to reconsider or postpone the East End Trail Loop Extension project decision until further consultation occurs with the PRC Advisory Committee and stakeholders. The volunteer appreciation event was discussed as well. And we then moved into closed sessions to discuss nominees for the Labyrinth of Distinction. And however, member voting resulted in none of the nominations achieving the required vote percentage for induction. And that concluded our meeting.
Thank you. And I had my mic on the whole time. Councillor Sacco.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Hudson, I'm not sure if you know some of the answers to these, but is Labyrinth of Distinction under Parks and Rec because it's at Heritage Square?
Yes.
So how long, no, my next question is, do we have a recipient for Labyrinth of Distinction every year, or is this year unusual?
It's every 2 years, and there not always is an actual person voted in. It depends on the nominations, whether they meet the criteria, and it's a percentage voting system that it goes through. So the last one would have been 2 years ago, and so the next one will be 2 years forward from here.
So I guess my concern is we didn't have a lot of people voting that night, so it's not a surprise that you didn't have, how do you word it, your vote percentage of induction. Should we be considering something else, doing it a different way? Should it be maybe brought to council? Could Parks and Rec maybe interview, go through, get a list of people and then present it? I'm just curious if that's ever been discussed at your meetings.
Not to my knowledge. Sherry, perhaps you have anything you want to add to that?
Sure. So the Labyrinth of Distinction policy is a council approved policy. And I hear what you're saying, Councillor Sacco, but you have to remember that it's a percentage based on the number of attendees there. So I think it's 75%. Correct me if I'm wrong. The two councillors. So it's 75%. So it's not established you must get 6 votes. It's based on the number of people that are there. You must achieve 75% to be considered to move on in the vote or to be inducted. And if I can just share with the Labyrinth of Distinction, only because of my past hat that I used to wear at Parks, Recreation and Culture, there were lots of examples of times when we had people nominated, they didn't achieve the required vote threshold. It is really meant to be a high standard to be inducted into the labyrinth, and hence why the 75% exists accordingly. I always think of it like your Canada's Walk of Fame, right? Think about, when you have your Canada's Walk of Fame, the people that get inducted to that. This is kind of our Walk of Fame. And I do recall at the time of opening the square, which was 2004, I believe, the note was made, well, we can't accept, it has to be a high threshold because otherwise it would be full now. And so it's meant to be a high threshold to ensure that exemplary standard is maintained throughout.
Councillor Cable?
Thank you, Your Worship. I do wonder, based on some of the criteria or the categories that individuals could be placed under, I wonder if there's ever an opportunity to look at whether Parks, Rec, and Cultural Advisory comes together with the Cultural Roundtable for that meeting to consider the applications. I know that the Cultural Roundtable didn't exist when the square was first formed. I just wonder if there's a spot for that committee to play a role, especially when we're looking at people who have made contributions to the arts or community-minded individuals, pieces like that.
I would say that's a suggestion that as a member of the advisory committee, you could take back. I think it would take you'd have to look at the policy and I'm going to think, did you not just review that in the last, 2 years maybe? Sorry, I'm looking to the two council reps that are on that committee. I think that review has happened in the last couple of years, but that could be a suggestion you could share accordingly. And whether they are sought for input or how would they, be involved in the vote? Because I think I agree with you. The Cultural Roundtable didn't exist at that time, but we need to somewhat have a group that's got the context of the labyrinth in mind when they're making those decisions. Because otherwise, should we go to the business community and the chamber to seek input from the business, like it might get a little messy, but certainly that would be a suggestion you could share.
Okay, I don't see any other hands, so we'll move on to that was 13.5, 13.5, which is the Plus VG Architects, the Hanover Police Station update or minutes, and Councillor Hudson is going to highlight those.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Hanover Police Station Committee met on March the 3rd and March the 17th. Several of the discussions were based on topics ongoing, so with your consent, I'll condense the two meetings together. The design coordination continues regarding architectural, mechanical, electrical, structural drawings, and reflected ceiling plans, floor finish have been developed and shared for review. Millwork concepts have been reviewed. Development is ongoing to incorporate Hanover Police Service requirements. Preliminary security device locations have been submitted and will be reviewed in detail with design team consultants. A design package will be issued once the above has been incorporated and mechanical, electrical, and structural systems are incorporated into the drawings. Interior evidence storage solutions have been submitted. Exterior recovered property storage has been discussed with an outdoor storage shed approximately 250 to 300 square feet, which must be weatherproof and contents not visible from public areas. Matching brick finished is suggested and a cost of it will be carried separately in the next cost estimates. A Sallyport screen wall will also be listed as an optional line in future cost estimates. The wall was considered an option in regard to public comments about prisoner privacy, as was listed in the police board report, although the wall does not address the secondary public concern regarding increased traffic into the community parking lot. With the potential reopening of the Walkerton Jail, that may reduce the number of transport vehicles. Millwork interior finishes discussion is ongoing, as is furniture review. The elevator access strategy confirmed regarding public access, controlled police access, and emergency situations. And the town of Hanover has requested a Class C, Class B estimate as soon as possible with an updated design package including a comparison to the West Gray 15,600 square foot building. And I believe that covers everything.
Very good. Any comments or questions? Counselor Cable.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just noting in the minutes on page 311 of our package, it talks about how Councillor Hawking is not in favor of constructing the Sallyport screen wall. I'm just trying to understand, what is the purpose of the wall? Like, if I'm envisioning the cruiser comes in, they would have a button in their cruiser that they hit and the door goes up and they would drive in. Why are we looking at constructing a wall? Like, is the cruiser actually sitting outside?
So this was the architect's suggestion and alternative to mitigate the concerns with respect to the public comments about having the Sallyport and the entrance for the police cruisers in an area of public entrance to this building. Did I explain that well enough, Councillor Hawking and Councillor Hudson? Is there further info you want to share? But it was really, this was really an addition to mitigate those concerns about having the Sallyport entrance and exit for the police cruiser in the same area as the public entrance for this building.
Okay, Counselor Hawking, then Counselor Hudson.
In my opinion, it just accentuates the whole idea of a fortress. The concern was brought forward that some people don't want to see a criminal in the backseat of a car coming in front of them. First of all, the chief says the windows are completely blank. Most of them are at nighttime. And in my opinion, sorry for the use of the word, it's overkill. And it's just going to, well, make it look ugly. Chief said you can just come in, hit the button, the doors go in, and the cruiser goes into the building. So I'm not in favor of it at all. It's proposed almost $70,000 so that people just don't look down there and see someone in the backseat of a cruiser. So that's why I voted against it.
Counselor Hudson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think two of the concerns were, as Councillor Hawking has mentioned, that the privacy of the individuals coming and going through the Sallyport was one. The other concern, though, that really had nothing to do about addressing the solution with a wall was the amount of traffic that would be coming and going through a community parking lot. So I think that the wall was sort of a, we're going to try and make this work and make everybody happy situation. So that's why they're pricing it out separately. And then a decision can be made whether the public, whoever finds that to be a reasonable solution, or it really wasn't ever discussed about the traffic in and out, but potentially, as I mentioned, with the reopening of the Walkerton jail, the chief has said that there may not be as much traffic coming in and out of that Sallyport, but that's down the road, obviously, as well. So those were the two concerns, and that was sort of a make work solution to some of those concerns, but again, priced out separately.
Okay. Counselor Cable, anything further?
No, I think that helps to clarify. I think, like Councillor Hudson was saying, there's maybe a different argument to why the Sallyport, in my opinion, shouldn't have been on that side of the building, and the wall is not, in my opinion, addressing that issue. So I just don't see the issue. I don't see the reason for having a wall.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on. I don't see any other hands. So 13.6, this is the last set of minutes for this motion. And our CAO, Sherry, is going to highlight those.
When I get involved in the conversation, I don't click quite ahead as much as I should. Am I good? My microphone's okay? Yes? Sorry. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Tanya, for the microphone reminders that you do share with us here in case those are listening at home wonder why we make that comment every now and then. So we did we did have our first ad hoc recruitment committee meeting on March 25th. And Mayor Sue was appointed chairperson. The committee reviewed the job description and made necessary updates accordingly. The preliminary timetable was shared with key dates determined for interviews. And then with respect to the recruitment firm, committee provided input with respect to the inclusion of the scope of work for the RFP document. That document has been released as of last Thursday with a deadline of April the 15th, I think. Sorry, don't quote me on that deadline date. I'm going off the top of my head and I shouldn't do that. So anyways, the deadline date is here soon in April. And we will reconvene on April 21st. That will be specifically to consider the RFP documents that are submitted. Excuse me.
Any questions or comments with that report? And none online. So that was the last set of minutes for that, to approve all those minutes. It's been moved by Councillor Hawking and seconded by Councillor Fleet that we receive the information and approve the recommendations contained in the minutes that were just highlighted. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. And Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor. That is carried. Thank you. All right, item 14 is bylaws, and we have 2. So we have, I need a mover and seconder before I ask the clerk for the intent of the bylaws. Deputy Mayor Dickert and Councillor Sacco. Vicky?
Bylaw number 3389-26 is a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw. And bylaw number 3390-26 is a bylaw to amend Schedule I of bylaw number 3357-25, the 2026 fees and charges.
Thank you. So it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Dickert, seconded by Councillor Sacco, that bylaw numbers 3389-26 and 3390-26 be introduced and that they be taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and inserted in the bylaw book. Is there any further discussion with those 2 bylaws? Seeing none, all in favor? And Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor. That is carried. Item 15 is correspondence requiring action. This is page 325 of the package for anyone trying to follow online. This is from Wayne Burrow. He is the moderator for London Transplant Gift of Life Association. And he is asking that the town fly the Be a Donor flag to bring awareness to others for the need of organ donation. Currently in Ontario, there are 1,691 people waiting for a transplant. Hanover has a registration of 45%, and Hanover has been a dedicated supporter of this for many years. And Wayne says, I thank my hometown very much for their support. This year, the National Awareness Week is from April 19th to the 25th. And I also hope we can have green lighting for this if possible. Green signifies hope. And he says at the end, thank you again for the consideration and the never-ending support in Hanover. So if you are in agreement, I need a mover and seconder that we will fly the Be a Donor flag and have the green lights. What do they call it? Spotlights, thanks. Thank you. So I have Councillor Hawking and Councillor Hudson. Any further discussion? I got that right. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item 16, are there any notices of motion? and none online. So good news and celebrations. This is item 17. And I'm going to start this meeting because I'm proud and excited and have been following it faithfully on TV. I want to take a moment to recognize an extraordinary milestone unfolding far beyond our own horizon, yet deeply meaningful to Canadians everywhere. On April 1st, Artemis II launched into space, sending 4 astronauts on a flyby around the moon. This is a historic first for the Canadian Space Agency and a defining moment for our country. As part of the Artemis II mission, astronaut Colonel Jeremy Hansen is serving as mission specialist, becoming the first Canadian to venture into deep space and the first to travel around the moon. I feel incredibly proud of Jeremy Hansen and profoundly proud to be Canadian. Jeremy's journey is remarkable, not only for where he is today, but how he got there. From a childhood in Ingersoll, dreaming of becoming an astronaut at age 5, to the discipline he built through Air Cadets, to studying physics and space science at the Royal Military College, and then serving as an elite CF-18 fighter pilot with NORAD and Arctic operations. His path has been one of dedication, excellence, and service. The Ingersoll mayor, Brian Petrie, said, "Ingersoll is over the moon with pride." And it shows that even from a small town, dreams can reach as far as the moon. We also celebrate another Canadian making history on this mission, astronaut Jenny Gibbons, the first Canadian and first international partner to be certified as an Artemis capsule communicator. She was the voice linking Earth to the crew during the lunar flyby. What stands out most is not only the scale of the mission, but the spirit behind it. Jeremy said, "We are doing this for all of humanity." And that message captures the heart of this moment. As we watched Artemis II launch, circle the moon, and now heading home, we're witnessing more than a scientific milestone. We're witnessing Canadian leadership at its best and a moment that will inspire generations. Just imagine how many young boys and girls will see new possibilities for themselves, careers in space, science, engineering, and exploration, because they watched a Canadian lead with courage and humility on the world stage. I am so proud of that. Thank you. So now I'll open it up for anyone who wants to share any good news, celebrations. Deputy Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Worship. Not so much good news and celebration, just would like to encourage people to participate in the regional transit study with my involvement at Saugeen Mobility. It is this is the second round of this survey, and it is certain information that we need to make the right decisions going forward with anything that might happen as far as transit in our region. So just to do encourage people to do that. And secondly, while they may not have got the result they wanted, I do want to recognize and congratulate the Hanover Barons on a great year. A lot of our residents attend those playoff games. It was a packed house a couple of times, and as I said, maybe not the outcome we'd hoped for, but it's certainly worth congratulations and thanks to them for a great season.
Councillor Hocking.
Yeah, I just want, and I'm sure most of the community members know that the Grey Goose Singers have their spring concert this weekend. I believe it's on Thursday. I just checked the internet, but it'll be a top notch. It's 60s music, and that would be of interest to a lot of our citizens. So look forward to the spring concert. Thank you.
Councillor Sackle.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know it's been mentioned a couple times tonight, but I still want to say that the Active Aging Senior Expo held at the Carriage House Event Center on March the 24th was such a huge success. The size of the crowd was amazing. When I walked in and saw all those people in those 3 rooms that we have that capability now at the Carriage House was amazing. The 2 speakers were terrific. The music was enjoyable, and it was such a great opportunity to include a trade show of local organizations. People were so impressed that this was not only a free event, but there was free food and drink and music. So thank you to all the organizers and the volunteers who made this a special day for many in our community.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Hudson?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just wanted to bring to the attention of the viewing public about a great event that the Hanover Curling Club is presenting on Friday, May the 8th. It's the Great Canadian Dueling Pianos, and it's taking place at the Carriage House Event Center. Would be a great gift for Mother's Day, just saying. But tickets are available at Wholesale Office Supplies for $30. So don't miss a great event that is new to our community.
Very good. I see the Carriage House is getting well used. So again, thank you to the Hanover Bentinck and Brant Agricultural Society for completing that construction project, and I'm sure it's going to be well used. Final call. Any other good news and celebrations? All right, so we'll move on. Item 18, upcoming committee meetings. Are there any dates listed on this that needs to be changed or revised? Seeing none, they are listed on this agenda and of course on our website. Item 19, important dates and announcements. Our next regular council meeting is Monday, April 20th at 4 p.m. We do not have a closed meeting, so we'll move on to our confirmation of proceeding bylaws. I need a mover and seconder before I ask Vicky for the intent. Councillor Sackle and Councillor Cable. Go ahead, Vicky.
Bylaw number 3391-26 is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the April 7th, 2026 regular council meeting.
So it's been moved by Councillor Sackle, seconded by Councillor Cable, that bylaw number 3391-26 be introduced and taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and inserted in the bylaw book. Any further discussion on confirmation? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. One final motion, and Councillor Fleet has indicated he is in favor, and that is to adjourn at 5:53, and it is moved by, I'll take Councillor Fleet, and seconded by Councillor Hawking. All in favor? Thank you. We are adjourned.